What's going on, guys? So let's go over some tips on hiring a software developer for your project. This advice goes to companies that are in the $0 to $10 million in online e-commerce revenue per year. So if you're just getting started or have been at this for a few years and are sort of approaching this higher end of the spectrum, let's talk about hiring a software developer, because you have many options out there for outsourcing this key resource, right? It could be offshore, onshore, hybrid. It could be an agency or a software development shop, or it could be a single developer, freelancer, a lone wolf, so to speak. And when it comes to agencies, of course, you can choose from the small 2 to 10 developers, or medium to large, sort of 30 developers and above. But here's what I want you to consider: quality, expertise, and lastly, the budget. Now, I know that 80% of you are mainly concerned with the budget, especially on your first few projects. And trust me, that makes sense if you're not very experienced at outsourcing or haven't done as many times. But the reason I'm giving you this advice on this topic is so you won't make the same mistakes that I've made in the past, or so you don't make the same mistakes that some of our clients that have then come back to us have made in the past as well. I have worked with software development teams from all around the world: India, Pakistan, Bulgaria, Belarus, Poland, Nigeria, of course, US and Canada, England even, and I'm probably missing a few other countries that we went to for a few small random projects. But look, I can tell you that I've had horror stories in every country, and I've also had great experiences in every country. So let's break down the elements that you need to consider, and where I had the good experiences and bad ones, and also where our current clients had a bad experience. So for today, I'm going to cover the size of the company. So 90% of the time, from my experience and from our clients, the lone wolf option, the single freelancer or software development expert, was a horrible choice. Think about it. So many scenarios can happen where this developer can literally go ghost on you. They can get sick, God forbid they get into a car accident or something like that. They can just get stretched too thin with too many clients that they're handling, and they're not giving you enough attention on your project. And maybe they way underestimated your project in the first place, right? Because all you cared about in the beginning was getting the cheapest price. And after a certain point, they just get frustrated with, first of all, your needs and constant, questions that you should have and are, entitled to have during the project. But then, during the development itself, they just get kind of burned out, and they stop communicating with you, and they just go ghost on you. That's actually happened to me a few times in the past, so I want to make sure that doesn't happen to you. The few times it makes sense, however, to hire a one-man operation or a single freelancer is if you have a CTO or a software development project manager in-house that are experienced and they understand how to manage this type of resource, right? I don't want to bash kind of freelance developers, because sometimes they can be good. But if you go in this direction, it's usually only wise to do it when your e-commerce platform, like whatever you're using, Shopify, Magento, or BigCommerce, is already in place and operational, and you're just looking for some minor tweaks or upgrades, or maybe a small integration or something like that, right? So I would not recommend to have a freelancer develop your entire platform from the start, or basically if you're looking for a re-platform to a new setup, I would not recommend that either, right? If you're going from WordPress or WooCommerce into Shopify or something like that. So if you're going to go for the agency or the software development team, make sure that you consider these options. Make sure they're certified or very experienced in the platform that you're looking for, or the one that they're recommending to do the development in. Ask for prior project examples or references to speak to. If it's custom development that you're seeking, make sure that the company, if it's under 100 developers in size, make sure that they have experience in that particular niche of development, right, that you're seeking. Because I've noticed that companies that are sort of the yes men developers and say yes to every project under the sun, from developing websites to e-commerce platforms to cybersecurity, to custom mobile app development, to database mining and SaaS platform development, these sort of companies will generally deliver mediocre results or product development, because they're not a subject matter expert in, let's say, e-commerce, and they haven't done hundreds of projects in that particular niche. So you want a developer to have experience in e-commerce, right? Because that's what you're going for, and have an experience with all the heavy lifting also, like complex integrations with payment gateways or inventory management systems or shipping logistics or other APIs, being able to, handle customizations that, to your checkout process pages and things of that, nature, and have an experience in doing it in the platform that you have running, right? So if you're in WooCommerce, make sure they got WooCommerce experience. Shopify, Magento, BigCommerce, whatever you have in place. And lastly, make sure that they understand project management and front-end quality assurance, because a lot of developers don't know anything about that. And make sure they have good communication, because usually, the communication, especially when you're dealing with a single developer, that's when the project breaks down, is in the communication. So the last thing you want to do is hire a large team and have them drop the ball on these important aspects. So I hope this gave you guys some good points to consider when it comes to the size of the company that you want to go with, whether it's a single developer or a bigger agency. And tomorrow we're going to cover how to choose whether you're going to go with whether you're going to outsource to an offshore team, onshore team, or a hybrid company, and all the different points that you need to consider. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.